Good morning and welcome to our midday discussion. And today we are focusing on what is going on in the Amazon rainforest. Slow to catch with media organizations, fast to spread, as it has been on Reddit for a while now. And only now is the mainstream press media worldwide, TV, newspapers, online media, really getting into what's going on in the Amazon. The rainforest there produces 20% of the oxygen in our atmosphere. And basically, you've probably heard this already, but it's referred to colloquially as our world's lungs. It is the largest rainforest on Earth, about half the size of our country. Its carbon store considered to be vital in slowing climate change. I mean, it's basically our lungs and our cleansing agents. More than 2/3 of the rainforest lies in the country of Brazil. Now, that nation has experienced more than 74,000 wildfires this year. As I heard this morning on NPR, a correspondent who is on the ground there says he has not seen what you would call any sort of a massive unified firefighting front. He said he saw one yellow fire truck go by, speed past him. But he says it's not like there's a front wall of this fire that has to be stopped. It is many isolated fires, some of which are connecting, some of which aren't. But there's so many going on at the same time. That's what we're really talking about here, as opposed to something like the fires that were in Malibu last year here in California. So the majority of the fires so far this year have occurred in the Amazon, according to Brazil's Space Research Center. This is an 80% increase over last year. Over the last week alone, 9,500 new fires. So in, like, say, Sao Paulo, it was like night during the day because of the smoke and soot, plumes of smoke blocking out the sun. And as you've seen multiple times from space, you can see the fires burning from space. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, these are the photos from Sao Paulo. And this was during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an eclipse. Look at that, you see the streetlights.
Oh, yeah.
Now, wildfires are common during the dry season as farmers illegally burn land for crop growing and cattle ranching, but this year's surge is absolutely unprecedented. According to researchers, there's nothing abnormal about the climate this year in the Amazon. The dry season just creates favorable conditions for the spread of fire, but it's humans that start the fires. More rainforest was lost to deforestation this year than the past 3 years combined. Now, the interesting twist to this is the blame game. Environmentalists, the people who are most upset about these fires burning in the Amazon, they blame Jair Bolsonaro, who took office as the 38th president of Brazil in 2019, earlier this year, just like 8 months ago. He campaigned on promises to open protected lands to commercial exploration. So his government has pulled back on environmental measures that would have protected the Amazon. Not so many fines, not so many warnings, not seizure, destruction of illegal equipment. All of that's been rolled back. 20% by one estimation, according to the New York Times. Now, Bolsonaro has dismissed data showing an increase in deforestation this year as lies, basically propaganda. Meanwhile, the environmentalists say that his government has encouraged developers to exploit the rainforest like never before, including burning land. So, in turn, the environmentalists, the protectionists, they're all up in arms about what's happening in the Amazon. Meanwhile, he's coming back at them. On Wednesday, he accused NGOs, or non-governmental organizations, of setting the fires on purpose as a way to make him and his government look bad. Of course, he gave no evidence to back up his claims. He just threw it out there. And with no hint of irony or punniness, environmental and climate experts have called his claims a smokescreen to hide his government's dismantling of protections for the rainforest. according to a story dated August 21st in the New York Times. And then there's the other aspect of this, which is, okay, we all live in the same world. We're all on the same planet. And if the Amazon is the planet's lungs, then we all have a vested interest in what happens to the Amazon, including whether it's burning out of control. Bolsonaro tells the rest of us, butt out. This is our issue down here in Brazil. We don't need you meddling in our affairs. Well, their affairs concern all of us.
Right. It's called, the Amazon is referred to as the world's lungs for a reason.
It's, it's a planet-wide ecological system that we're all a part of. So, French President Emmanuel Macron said, our house is burning. Literally, it's an international crisis. Members of the G7 summit, let's discuss the emergency first order in 2 days. Germany and Norway, citing Brazil's lack of commitment to fighting deforestation, withheld more than $60 million for sustainability projects in the rainforests. And the Irish Prime Minister said Friday that Ireland would try to block a free trade deal with Brazil unless action was taken to protect the rainforest. Now recall what I said a moment ago about the correspondent on the ground for NPR saying that he didn't see any sort of a unified or massive firefighting effort. Now keep in mind that is many fires burning at the same time, but he said all he saw was one fire brigade go by in a hurry. So that says a lot as well. According to your comments, Shannon says insanity in charge. Karen says Bolsonaro needs to go. Pamela says, so y'all making this out to be a joke? I don't recall making a joke.
I think she was referring to another comment saying, oh, so my Amazon subscription is going to go up.
Ah, I got you. Okay. This, as I've said before, this live stream will continue even as we wrap it up, so you can continue to comment and converse with one another. What this free republic, this democracy that we live in, is all about, the free exchange of speech and ideas. And in this case, we're talking about another country, but something that has global impact. You turn on any media source, be it online, social media, your news feed, NBC Nightly News, CNN, Fox News, magazines, newspapers, radio, NPR, WWJ. Anywhere you go, this has become the story that it should have been probably weeks ago. So I know that my daily travels on Reddit put me in touch with this story earlier on as I watched the comments and the people, basically so many posts, people saying, when is this going to, become an issue of urgency? When is it going to break wide? So again, we invite you to continue in the comments, and we will be back to see you again for another midday discussion on Tuesday of next week. Have a great weekend.